have here this video. Let me bring this over here. I wanted to show you this because this is brilliant. Dunkel, as you know, he made the review for Dragon Age the Veilguard, one of the best reviews I saw for that. That was his first ever video. And today, we're going to watch his new video, came out yesterday. Forrest Gump Analysis, The Unimportance of Saying Something New. Enjoy.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
Films have been used as vessels for messages ever since the first few frames were captured on a film reel.
Such a good
Countless
film,
films go to great lengths to convey their messages. Some do so more artfully or subtly than others, but many employ every method of filmmaking to guide the audience to the supposed wisdom they wish to impart. On the other hand, there are movies which use a more complex formula and carry a multitude of messages and nuggets of wisdom within them, with each member of the audience being able to find something different in the film they can connect with and form their own takeaways. If you ask anyone why Forrest Gump is considered a great film, you will likely not hear two similar answers. I realize this is probably true for several great films, but I do think this one is special. Forrest Gump means something else to an American than it does to a European.
He makes a very good point there, that Forrest Gump is designed in so many different ways, it has so much going on in it, that yeah, everyone will perceive it separately, very differently. For those of you who haven't seen Forrest Gump, do it. Really, really good film about, I think it was Tom Hanks' first major film, and it's about this kid, Forrest Gump, who is mentally special. He's not very smart. I think they flat out say he's retarded, and it's him going through life and overcoming odds. Everything. Perception changes a lot of how to perceive things. Would you look at that? I know, right? But he's talking about the results of said perception, so let's continue.
It speaks differently to a teenager than to a 40-year-old. It resonates differently with the abandoned, the disabled, the old, the veteran, and the pacifist. But it tells something to everyone, just how Forrest does from the start of the film. He sits down on a bench, and no matter who takes a seat next to him, he begins telling his story. He doesn't share earth-shattering ideas. He doesn't start talking because by the end he wants to give a life-changing lesson.
He really doesn't.
He simply talks about life. And this is how he talked to me.
Me being Dunkel.
But why
in this
do we
case.
find Forrest sympathetic to begin with? At first, maybe because we all pity him. We pity him because he's dim-witted, or because he has a crooked spine and can't walk properly. However, Forrest doesn't need our pity, and the film shows this to us early on. He isn't a victim.
This is such a good point. I am not apologizing for stopping the video. Forrest is the example of overcoming the odds as a disabled person, like a person, he's disabled in every way. He has every odd against him. He doesn't care. He does it anyway. That's, yeah. And he never makes himself a victim, ever, in the film. Mainly because he's too stupid to understand that he's a victim, but he does it anyway.
Among the great many characters in film history who have been pitied and discriminated against, Forrest is the one who doesn't feel even a bit lesser than the others around him.
I'm not buying that.
He doesn't even understand the reality of the negative effects on his life, and doesn't spend time trying to understand them either. The perfect metaphor for this is the film's central symbol.
Run, Forrest, run!
I guess theme.
We hear it said again and again. At first, it might seem that Forrest runs because he is fleeing some bullies, but this is only true for a few minutes. Forrest runs his entire life, symbolically speaking. When he throws off his leg braces, he picks up a momentum that pushes him through all the way to the end. He doesn't look back, and he doesn't let past grievances slow him down either. His momentum pushes Forrest through life relentlessly, leading him to find the interesting and the beautiful in each and every setting. in a rough childhood, in the hellscape of war, in unrequited love, and in the simple joy of a job well done. We love Forrest because he didn't take anyone's side. His entire life he was used and manipulated. He was a tool for politics. He stood in the crossfire of ideologies. He was idolized and hunted. He was a war hero and an icon for hippies. Forrest Gump was never smart enough to notice manipulation, or to even understand what manipulation was. But while he was being manipulated from every side, he never picked one. His mind wasn't taken over by political division. Childhood bullying didn't ruin his adulthood, nor did the several rejections. He didn't come home from Vietnam as a broken man, unlike many others. His mental disadvantage was balanced by his simple yet positive outlook and his heart. Forrest spent most of his life adrift, and he was rarely in full control. Despite this, the childlike curiosity that he kept throughout masked the bittersweet reality of things from him. On the other hand, there's Jenny, the girl who got close to Forrest as a child but ended up going down a completely different path.
Jenny is considered a villain by so many people. I remember, what was the name? Cinema Therapy did a video on this whole thing, on Jenny and how, yeah, she is a victim. And she is. And that's what holds her back. They don't say it, but she is a victim. Forrest isn't. Yeah, we'll see the contrast in themes, I think.
Jenny is often seen as one of the most disliked characters in film history because despite Forrest's every approach, pure love and honest intentions, she kept rejecting him. But how was Jenny so different? Firstly, Jenny thought the road to happiness required her to have full control of her life. She needed to achieve every dream she had, otherwise she wouldn't have lived a life she could call full.
She needed to compensate.
She didn't want variables in this equation. She couldn't accept that life is full of unexpected turns and doors of opportunity appearing out of nowhere. Forrest stepped through every door that life offered him. He opened even those that smarter people wouldn't have. But he found things of value behind each and every door which he could carry with him for the rest of his days. Jenny tied her happiness to achieving goals floating far in the distance, barely visible. I'll be happy when I'm a famous singer, when we win our great struggle, when I won't need to focus on anything, just let myself be flown away by drugs.
I'm sorry for pausing it. Jenny has that, and she's always compensating. She's always trying to compensate for stuff. I related more to Forrest than I thought. I know, right? I know, this is such a good take. So,
The man of my dreams rides in on a white horse. When this, when that. She sought her happiness tied to a set of conditions, but the only thing she found was unhappiness.
Perpetual
her
misery.
life slipped away in the blink of an eye, as if she could never truly escape the house she fled long ago. Despite the constant rejections, Forrest was her rock. He was the lighthouse in the middle of her sea of wild waves. But every time when Jenny found respite, she decided to get back in that boat and paddle out into the tempest again. She was looking for something out in the storm that wasn't there.
She thought that she could only achieve peace by reaching the eye of the storm. Not knowing that you can always just not sail straight into it.
Forrest wasn't looking for anything, but he found everything.
Yeah.
This film talks about many things, but it doesn't necessarily say anything new. But is that a bad thing? People fanatically followed this strange prophetic phenomenon running coast to coast and looked at him like a guru, someone who possesses great wisdom. They waited for him with bated breaths to finally speak and lead them to enlightenment, to give them some big revelation, to give meaning to their lives. But Forrest just wanted to go for a run, and that's exactly the point. He taught people without saying a single word that it's not always important to say something new. Can we truly say something again and again that no one has said or noticed before? Most of us will perish without uttering a single original thing in this world. If you think this film or this video is made worse by not giving you anything new, then open up the latest edition of a foreign corporate tax code. You'll find something new there. but how much joy will you derive from it?
Fuck you. Fuck you, what you have to bring up taxes, man? What you have to rub the wound, dude? I have to pay taxes soon. Fuck you.
Forrest Gump isn't a great film because it says anything new about something no one has said before, but because it highlights that if we build a strong foundation on what is achievable and adopt an attitude which isn't built on arrogance, pride, and hubris, which sets our standards for happiness sky high and only leads to the edge of a balcony, but instead we can be more humble, then we can notice the unnoticeable. Jenny was stranded in that house forever. She wasn't responsible for what happens to her. She couldn't fight. She had no chance from the start. Her legs had no braces, but she couldn't run. She did flee, but she only found the same house again and again. Jenny spent her whole life throwing stones at her past. And with every stone, she predestined herself for more misery. She tried to fight matters beyond her control, which led to her days going to waste, removing even the possibility to move on and heal. This was a complete dead end.
My taxes are done for me by the government and usually even paid back from... the thing is, because I run a business on the side, because usually the same happens to me. We get our taxes done by the company I work for. But because I run a business on the side, I have my own side business because, you know, Fiverr and getting paid for the subs and all that kind of stuff. I have to do my own. Yeah, because I have a side business, I have to engage in that side of taxes. Thankfully, I have a really good deal here. I barely pay any, but I still have to pay. And back to this, right? You are not responsible for what happens to you, but you are responsible for healing. It is your responsibility to heal your wounds. That is your responsibility. What happens to you, if something happens to you, if somebody else inflicts something upon you, that is not your responsibility. That is not your fault. It is your responsibility to heal. It's not something that others can do for you. And a lot of people forget that. Responsible for making the situation. You are responsible for what you do about it. Yeah, you're not responsible. What was it? You can't control how you feel, but you can control how you react. And a lot of people have forgotten that. Right.
Jenny shouted "Run, Forrest, run" so many times that she couldn't even notice that she didn't take a single step herself.
That thematically is so...
She was the one whose past haunted her, who felt alone even among 1,000 people. She fought so hard to change something that her entire being just withered away unnoticed by anyone.
Fuck, I just realized. I'm not apologizing for stopping it. She only ever steps forward when she's stepping back into her past. Whenever she's pushing Forrest forward, she stays still. And whenever she's in motion, she's jumping back into her past. Into the past that will continue to haunt her. Thematically, that's what happens. And I think physically, it's what happens mostly to her. Constantly. Like whenever she's walking, or she's in motion, or she's being driven, or whatever, she's going straight back into her past. Man, that's so cool. Fuck.
While the man who just stepped through the doors, now he's the one telling us his tale. We all pitied poor dim-witted Forrest exactly because most of us have more in common with Jenny. We demand happiness while we're just throwing stones. We throw stones at the father who drank, at the mother who said nothing, at the system that took everything, at the teacher who didn't teach, at the friend who turned his back, at the role model who turned out not to be a saint, at the politician who lied at every debate. Stones for all grievances, stone for you who didn't raise me right, for you, mother, who just stood by, for you all who my beliefs wouldn't share, for the past that still echoes, and for the present that dwells. But are there enough stones for the weight of every woe? I ask you, pray tell.
That's all I have to say about that.
According to Jenny, you just don't have enough stones. But with this many stones on our back, we won't get very far. If I didn't say anything new with this, then why do we carry them still?
There you go. This last line, dude. If I didn't say anything new, how the fuck did you manage to say something completely new? I had never heard any take like this about this film, or films in general. How the fuck did you manage to say something new by saying you're not saying anything new? Huh? So there you go. Man, every stone you throw will weigh in your conscience. That's how I see things. That's how I see things. Every stone you throw will weigh upon you. And there you have it. And watch Forrest Gump if you haven't yet. Yeah, thank you for watching. Watch Forrest Gump. And here you go. This is Dunkel the Elf. This is his second video ever. This is his second video. His first video is a fairly objective look at somebody who, like an objective review of Dragon Age: The Veilguard, which he 100%ed. So let me put it in chat. Let me put the link in chat so that you can see it. Dude, this... I want more videos from Dunkel, so go subscribe to Dunkel. Go subscribe to Dunkel, go support, because this was so good. This was so good. It was such a good video. It was such a good video. It was absolutely brilliant. The analysis of the theme, incredible. So, there you have it.